Hello, Walter here. You're listening to Life in a Border Town. This episode is a little bit different from the other episodes I released on this podcast, but the main things remain. A local person talking about local history at one point in the story, and I'll leave it right there. Here is a story. It's named Uneasy Spaces.
So we're going to go up a couple of blocks. We'll go down John.
Pamela Wise drives around her neighborhood. It's called New Center, Detroit. She's been living here since 1984.
I mean, like, it's really kind of weird because you see, like, new houses, and then all of a sudden next to the new houses, you see, like, this place is just falling apart, which is kind of crazy.
Pamela sees the developers. Some buy houses. Some just look at property. She points out one building.
This place had been vacant for a very, very, very long time, and I can see where they're starting to change it. It's being transformed. That's what, about 12 units? Something like that?
It's complicated.
There's a black developer that's doing these houses. And I understand that she's making this very affordable.
She's trying to make sense of these changes.
This is new. There used to be vacant houses there before. These two new houses, that's a new house and that's a new house.
She's not sure how she feels about this transformation. She sees both pros and cons.
Noticing things, different changes that occur in the community, because all of a sudden you see all of these different people in your neighborhood that you've never seen before. It's like they just kind of drop down out of a spaceship, It's like, okay, I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's a little different, but you're just like wondering, okay, well, what's going on here?
Gentrification plays a role here. Pamela defines it as...
It could be new people coming in with wealth. It could also be people reclaiming wealth. Say like if you had, like some of the buildings that we were looking at, say like it's been an eyesore in the community for a long time. But it might be owned by somebody that's in the suburbs that just left it there and it's dormant. But then when the city starts coming back to life, they move in to reclaim that space.
In this process, people and businesses are pushed out.
You have these new developers coming in, and they're buying up the property. And just like, the guy at Russell Street Deli who had been there for years. And all of a sudden you get this mandate about you got to do this and you got to do that or you got to get out. I think that is so unfair. People who have been renting property to like their family and friends for years are now all of a sudden the city is cracking down.
In response to all this, Pamela composed a few songs. She sits down in front of the upright piano in her basement.
This is a piece that's called Uneasy Spaces. And I kind of thought about people who had to deal with transitioning from one place to another or is being pushed out of a space. Then you got to try to make do. So this is Uneasy Spaces. I was thinking about all the people who had to make adjustments and transitions, and maybe that's uncomfortable, if you're being pushed out of a space and all of a sudden you got to find a new space that might not be too good. Then again, it could be really good. So there was like a kind of a bright moment in the piece where, okay, yeah, I'm beginning to see the silver lining in all of this, but in the meantime, you're kind of going through. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Pamela is a jazz pianist. She has played all around town for decades.
Artists are reflective of what's going on in our community. We're like the newspaper for our community.
Pamela is the music minister of a church on Detroit's west side. She brought people together to listen to songs like Uneasy Spaces and discuss the changes in the city. She wanted to use art to ignite a spark in people.
We invited Bedrock Construction to come to the table. But they refused because they said, well, if we couldn't get a confirmation from the Detroit City Council members, to be there, that they didn't want to participate. And my thing was, okay, I see you buying up all the houses, and I see you building a lot of things, but is there any projects that Bedrock Construction is taking on as a community development thing, where they're taking a park and maybe revitalizing the park for the city, or without being paid? But I guess they didn't have anything to say. So they didn't say anything. They didn't show up. So
The event was really well received.
There's a wonderful dancer who actually danced to this piece, and she kind of really represented emotionally what I wanted to reflect in the piece.
Pamela told me the location of the event was crucial.
I chose that area because Linwood and Hogarth, that area was pretty hard hit during the 1967 riots. And my church is very historic in terms of the involvement of the black community in that area and giving them an outlet for worship. And that area has not seen much change in the gentrification process in terms of, new buildings and shops and that kind of thing. They haven't been seeing that.
She's uncertain about the future. In the meantime, she will play the piano, compose songs, and bring people together. For the Transom Traveling Workshop and WDET in Detroit, I'm Walter Patrician. This story was recorded in December 2019, and the story was done in the Transom Traveling Workshop at WDET Studios, and it was all completed in a week. So it was a whirlwind, and I am so fortunate to have made this story alongside really other incredible radio producers. So just a little bit of a backstory on that. It was done in a week. Thank you so much to Pamela Wise. If it wasn't for her, this podcast episode would not exist. So I also want to thank Rob Rosenthal, Laura Herberg, Aaron Allen, Ray Solomon, Parker Finn, and Emma Bowman for their constructive criticism of this story and helping me shape it, helping me build it through the couple of days we spent together critiquing not only my episode, but their own podcast radio stories as well. Additional thanks goes to David Lenz, Noor Al-Samari, Tanya Rodrigue, Shannon Moffitt, and just a reminder, this podcast is a recipient of the City of Windsor Arts, Culture, and Heritage Fund. My name is Walter Patrician, and thank you as always for tuning in.